Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm a consultant with a PhD in AI, over a decade of industry experience, and an active practice helping teams turn prototypes into shipped products. Before I go on, I need you to know that I really stressed out over using note cards for the title here, rather than the sticky notes demanded by my profession. Here's hoping they don't revoke my consulting license. More seriously, I also played tabletop RPGs. Less than I might like, but you have to work to afford the hobby. I picked up solo games a few years ago, around the time that I think many of us discovered them, the onset of the pandemic. Lately, I've been thinking about how software could make the tabletop experience better. Specifically, systems that help DMs, players, and soloists track the state of the game and reference relevant rules in their notes quickly. Something along the lines of retrieval augmented gaming, if you will. Given my profession and hobbies, the following seems a little strange, right? I'm not gonna start off by building those tools. I've been automating things since I was a kid. My fascination with AI started with writing scripts for MUDs. And then I moved on to Ultima Online and I was automating that. And then the next MMO, Asheron's Call, came along and I was automating that. Something I've learned over that time is that good tools come from need rather than just the desire to build something for the sake of building. Typically when I play, I'm not paying attention to the friction in the game. I'm trying to ignore it so that I can stay engaged with the fiction and the fun at the table. If I'm gonna build something though, I want to feel what's working and what's frustrating. I want to pay attention to it. I need to experience that discomfort before I try and fix it. And besides, I get enough of the LLM and RAG thing in my day job. This is meant to be something a little more personal. See, I like solo play for the freedom, both from the burden of scheduling, but also the freedom to explore things that I might not feel comfortable with in group play. When I play alone, I try to tell stories about characters pursuing what they want and instead finding what they need. This tends to focus around things like queerness, survival, and hope because those are topics near and dear to my heart. I use Mythic and Cypher, which you see here on the table beside me, because I think those systems hit the sweet spot between guardrail, scaffolding, and freedom. There's just enough structure to prevent decision paralysis, what my colleagues in the business might call an enabling constraint. Eventually, I'll be bringing in some tooling, but only when I'm sure I know what I want to build. So, this is going to be a YouTube series and podcast sort of simultaneously. And what you'll hear on it is some actual play sessions, just real, messy, maybe lightly, but mostly unedited solo sessions, reflections over those sessions, a debrief on what worked, what didn't, and why. And then I want to do some narratives, so distilled dramatization of each story arc in the game. And down the road, eventually, I'll be either live streaming or recording some of my development of the systems that support my play. I'm calling this the Fourfold Path because, well, there are 4 bullet points for different types of episodes. And you can see that in the script if you're watching this on YouTube. Also because I think it sounds cool and everything needs a name. So if you've ever wanted to see a story built from the ground up, or if you've hesitated before starting a solo game or automating a messy human process, if you're interested in how to bring your whole self to the table, then this is as much for you as it is for me. I'm Jordan. I make systems and I tell stories, and this time I'm doing it in front of God and everyone. Let's see how that goes.